Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Rebuilding Healthy Homes podcast. My name is Sinead, and I am your host. Welcome, Armis. We have Armis here today. Armis Mohammed. He is the founder of Project Patois. He is also the owner of Lorem Ipsum Design. And he is actually a great friend of mine. And I thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, no problem. First, thanks for having me. And it is a great opportunity for me to really explain who I am, what I do. Long story short, I Project Patois, my first company in 2016. That was after studying in Embry-Riddle Aeronautical in Daytona. Funny enough, I started off in aerospace engineering and I did sciences all my life before switching to business in my second year. So that's a fun fact. I never did business until I switched majors. And then when I switched majors, I fell in love with it. Thanks to a really good professor that I had, and she convinced me because I wasn't really enjoying the engineering. And she said, by the way, I think you'll be great at business. So I just called, and it goes back to, the household. I called my parents. I'm like, look, I'm gonna change my majors, and they were all for it. They
Wow,
supported
that's
me.
amazing. And they were supportive and they
Yep.
were ready for you. Wow, that's amazing. So we actually met a couple years ago. A little backstory for those who don't know. I met you a couple years ago because I had this vision and this dream to just create healthy homes in the Caribbean. And I wanted somehow to end all this violence, domestic violence and stress and trauma in these Caribbean communities. And living in Toronto, I felt like, oh my goodness, there's nothing. Is there something we can do? We have so much privilege over here. What can we do to give back in some way? And I found you through just kind of Googling and going on Instagram, and I found Project Patois, and it struck out at me. I couldn't believe there was such a project that was out there, such a mission that was out there that mirrored exactly what I wanted to do. So I had to get in touch with you. And since I've met you, I've seen your charity evolve in so many ways. It's insane.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the cool things that I wanted to do was merge the gap between, entertainment and also doing things for a good cause. Because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like when we try to bring people together as Caribbean people, we don't usually do it for the right reasons. We tend to think about money, we tend to think about a fete, about a party, which is great because, people come together to enjoy themselves. But you could also utilize the same resources to come together to do good things, charitable things, the mentorship programs, the beach cleanups, and there's so much more that you can do.
Yeah, so you've done beach cleanups. I've seen you've repainted some schools
Yes, we have
in
we
Jamaica.
have
Was it Jamaica?
yes, it was Jamaica. We have partnered with a lot of different organizations as well. So with the Jamaican project, we partnered with a company called TCC. We also do work with Rainbow Rescue Boys Home in Trinidad. We do beach cleanups, we do toy drives. We try to just really enhance the community that we live in, the day-to-day things, the simple things that we take for granted. A lot of the
Yeah.
kids don't even know what that's like.
Exactly. And so these little things that you're doing is really making an impact on the community. I remember watching one of your YouTube videos about your beach cleanup, and to see the amount of garbage you collected was mind blowing to me.
Yep, it's nuts. It's crazy. And to also understand the dynamic of how difficult these things are to do. Even putting together a beach cleanup and then having no support to really get the garbage off the beach. That took like a month alone. So there's so
Wow.
much, I think, in our communities and in our culture that we don't cater for. And we also, well, I'm always back and forth in the US. So in the US, it's
Hmm.
completely different. If you
Yeah.
put together a program, a project, a community initiative, you do get the support of the government, of the county, of a lot of things. Here, it's a lot different. So you have to bob and weave and figure out what makes sense.
Absolutely. And so that's what I noticed starting this whole rebuilding healthy homes. So it's been probably, I've known you for about a couple of years now. I'd
Yeah.
say about 6-7 years. And so
Yeah.
I saw all the work you're doing, and I kept procrastinating. And finally I said, no, this is it. I'm going to register this charity and I want to help rebuild these homes. And I reached out to you because I thought I really admire the relationship you have, or that I could see you have with your family,
Yeah.
and how successful you are. And I know, as you mentioned, it starts with your home. So just pivoting back to when you told your parents you want to start this business venture, they were so on board, they were so ready. Did you have any obstacles growing up?
Definitely. I mean, one of the great things for me is that both parents are supportive and they both have different perspectives on things, so it balances it off. One of the nice things growing up as well is that no matter what you do, your home is your safe space. So
Yeah,
that was a great thing. It also helped me grow into a very fearless person in terms of business, in terms of things that I do. I'm not really afraid of anything. I don't need validation from anybody because I know in myself and with the people that really matter, I'll always have the support. So
yeah, that's really nice, and that's so key.
yes,
What you
definitely.
said right there is so key. If you want to endeavor into something so life changing and take a risk, you took a risk, because in society's eyes, I mean, engineering, that's probably every household or parent's dream for their
Yep,
son or daughter to be an engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer.
definitely. Definitely. And you
And
have coming from the
yeah,
Caribbean communities too, that's something that a lot of families put on their children. They have this predetermined notion of what their children need to do, which I don't think is right as well, and it also puts a pressure on them that shouldn't be there.
but I like how you split the philanthropy and the business side of things 50-50. And that's so good to see, because I also see you with your design company. And of course, you have the exposure of going back and forth from Miami. So did that impact your vision towards splitting your business and
Definitely.
your philanthropy 50-50? Okay.
Definitely. I mean, for me, I don't think any of us are ultimately here to, just make money. I feel like the impact is more important. The things we do, what we leave behind, when we have a conversation with somebody, what they remember us for, those things are more important. So the business really is a means to do things that are important in your life. It's not really the end. So I feel by
Yeah.
splitting it up, the 50% getting the work done is to now fund the other 50% of things that you really want to do.
So the business is the tool,
Definitely.
and I understand that. I mean, as my profession, I'm a realtor.
Yep.
And so my dream, I would love to travel the world and build community centers and schools and
Definitely.
houses for poor people, but I can't. It's not.
Exactly.
But you use the business as a tool. So is that your purpose, to leave this earth a better place than you found it?
I believe so. I feel like one of my purposes, I would say, that I found recently is really letting people understand that you can do what you want to do. You can achieve things, you can move forward in life by thinking your own way, doing your own things, not just following the usual or falling into pattern. I think that once you're able to understand that you can have a positive impact in anything you do, you then are able to free yourself, and not over stress, not overthink, and say, okay, how can I make money, but how can I also now help other people? How can I be happy? Because in turn, it does make you feel better as well. You're not
Yeah, yeah.
just helping people, you're also helping yourself by doing that.
But Armis, I will ask you this. For us, right, and a lot of people who may be listening to this and struggling to find their true purpose, or struggling to find their success point, are saying, well, it's easy for them
Hmm.
because they're in career paths or they're in businesses, and I'm just working this 9 to 5.
Yep.
How can I still leave a lasting impact? How can I live my dreams out when I have to come home and take care of this household?
Definitely. I mean, I would say a lot of people are privileged and a lot of people are on the other side of it. It's very difficult for those who have bills to pay, have kids to feed, to just say, okay, let me go follow my dream and do what I want to do. You know, you have responsibilities. I think like
Mm-hmm.
one of the most important things is understanding that there's a lot of things you can do that doesn't take a lot of overhead. So for instance, one of my businesses, the marketing agency, I mean, theoretically, I have zero overhead. You know, this is something I do employ people now, but when I first started, I did everything myself. You know, and you can learn on your smartphone. You have resources nowadays that could really take you to a new level. So I think one of the most difficult things for someone to do with those big responsibilities is to take the leap because you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself that, okay, if I leave my 9 to 5 and I jump into something that I want to do on my own, I am able to now make it happen. I do
Mm-hmm.
think that 99% of the time, if you have a huge responsibility, such as a kid or family to take care of, when you take that leap, you will figure it out. It will not be easy,
Mm-hmm.
but you know you have to pay the bills. So you will now become the best graphic designer you could be. You could now, you know,
Yeah, 100%.
exactly to back that up because that person or your responsibility is more important than yourself. So you're gonna sacrifice, you're gonna make it happen. But that initial leap, I think, is very difficult for most people because of the comfort zone that they are able to get with a 9 to 5.
So Canadians, North
Hmm.
Americans, I would say, and I think you could probably attest to this. Not
Yep,
all North Americans, but a large majority of them do not share the abundance mentality that I do see exists in the Caribbean community.
definitely.
And not all Caribbean people have an abundance mentality, but the ones I know do. And so um, I remember I used to complain to you so much. I'm like, I just want to travel. I just want to get out of here. I don't want to work anymore. Like, I'm over it. And then one day I did what you said. I took the
Yep,
leap. It's been about 5 years since I've been a business owner. And God, the first year, I cried like every
yep,
30 minutes. I didn't know what I was doing. I kept doubting myself. But you're right, you do make it work. But what I've noticed with a lot of people from North America is they don't share that abundance mentality that you're
yep,
speaking of. They don't have that, I think, and this is something I've noticed even in my clients, my real estate clients, Caribbean real estate clients, they say, well, I don't know. I don't know. They're very doubtful. They don't want to spend. They feel like they're living in a scarcity world. And it's so polar opposite from when I talk to someone like you or when I travel to Trinidad to play mass. I see people spending so lavishly and living their best life and they say it's just one
correct,
life, just live.
correct.
It's so
It
different.
is
Do you
completely
do you
different.
agree?
I agree 100%. I think we are from a culture that we've grown up to really express ourselves, you know, make the most of our lives. I don't think really and truly we tend to think in the very long term versus in North America, you know, people are in college planning their retirement which which was
Yeah.
crazy to me. You know, I met people in college. They're planning their families, their houses, you know, their retirement fund, and I'm there like I'm just trying to get out of my degree and figure out what I want to do. So
Trying to catch the next flight out of here.
exactly. So it's a very different mentality, definitely. I think also just simple metrics such as population changes such a big thing because Trinidad we have for a small island we have a lot of resources. I mean now the economy isn't great, but the rest of the world is going through the same thing. But growing up, you know, you would see households sharing incomes, and the population in the entire country is not that big. So when the oil money spreads, it spreads between one point something million people. Versus when you go to
Mm-hmm.
Miami alone, the population is like double, triple that. So the fight, I think, like the fight, you're fighting against more people in a specific industry. So it does become a bit
I see
difficult.
what you're saying. I see there's a heavier
Definitely,
competition element to things,
definitely.
right? But when we consider the competition element, I also feel like there is a lot of, there is not a financial alignment component because there is we're not in a red ocean, we're in a blue
Yep.
ocean. So if we think about like in the marketing sense of things, right? So there's enough to go around for everyone. And I really do not see that. I said this in my last podcast, and I'll say it again. I met someone in Trinidad, and this person was so wealthy when I came down to play mass, and he said, I have this much, and he was telling me how much he has, and he said, but if I lose it tomorrow, that's okay. I'll make it back again next
Correct.
week. And he never had any doubt, like, that he could make this money again. And so I think it talks to the whole scarcity mentality of feeling like, well, if it's gone, it will never
Correct.
come back. That fear factor.
Correct.
That you're right, they do instill in you in North America at a very early age.
Yes, I do think the fear is the ultimate thing that if you can get rid of, you would make your life so much easier. You will be a lot happier. And definitely in North America, you would see kids growing up to have this fear mentality where they overthink things. They don't really think about what they want to do. They think about, maybe what pressure is being put on them. And versus Trinidad, we really try to live our best lives. Across the board. Across the
Literally.
board, yeah.
So this literally those exact words, live your best life. My fun fact, I grew up in Trinidad when I was smaller, and so I always grew up with this image in mind that I lived in euphoria. Yep. This is how I felt like when I was a kid growing up. And when I came to Canada, I'll never forget, I remember being in my most vivid memory of coming to Canada was being in snow pants and the snow just hitting my face and crying in school. I'm like, why are these kids playing outside? It's so cold. And I just remember always growing up thinking there's never not enough. There's always enough. And I saw so many people around me, my aunts and my uncles, their mentality also progressed to a lack as well. And I think they adopted this Canadian or North American lifestyle. And I really think, going back to the whole concept of rebuilding healthy homes, that if more communities harness their upbringing and their culture and really stood close to it, I think their home would be healthier and happier.
Yeah, definitely.
And not the toxic traits, the healthy, happy, positive, live your best life.
Yeah, definitely.
Traits.
Because I could speak about myself growing up. There was nothing that you ever really wanted that you wouldn't get, and it doesn't mean, expensive or anything like that. But you always felt like you were loved. You always felt like, you had a place in the home. You always felt that you could talk to your parents, be yourself, which you don't find away a lot of times. You find kids growing up with, a lot of hate because they're not even able to have proper communication with their own family. So.
Okay, all right. That really struck out at me because when we say abundance, right away people think we're referring to money, but we're not. The abundance we're referring to is the abundance of love, the abundance of joy, the abundance of having fun, the abundance of peace. That is true abundance. And when that part of your life is fulfilled, then it seeps through into your finances. It seeps through into your fridge. It seeps through into your ability to travel.
Definitely. I feel like a lot of us go into the notion of, what happiness is, what success is with the wrong mentality. I feel like a lot of people try to measure themselves against other people and not really understand what it takes for them to be happy. Money comes as a byproduct of adding value. If I have to exchange, I'm technically adding value to a customer who then adds value to me by paying money. So money, the end goal.
So speaking a little bit about, just really quickly, about value in your business, I know that you obviously add so much value to the lives of your clients. So tell us a little bit about what has made your business a success so far and what you hope to continue moving forward for your business.
I mean, one of the greatest things that I've seen interacting with customers is adding value in a different way, having a different mindset, opening their eyes to what they can really achieve. I mean, in terms of the marketing agency, we are able to now understand them, or I can sit with them as a business owner as well and have a conversation. I know their struggles. I know what it takes. Because long story short, I created a marketing agency because I hired one for myself for Project Patois, and it didn't turn out very well.
Mm-hmm.
So so it's funny. So I understood it, I learned from it, and now I can give my clients, what I think I would love to have as an entrepreneur as well and a business owner. So with that being said, Project Patois in itself, with the value we add to our customers, or I would more call it family, is completely different. It's crazy because now you have people coming together for so many different things. You have an event, you have a beach cleanup, and one big family across different countries. So I don't even need to do anything, or the brand doesn't need to do anything, and you find people calling each other, they put in lines together, they go into the beach together, and that's crazy to see the impact you could have positively moving forward.
That's so nice. That's really, really nice to hear. And that's such a different approach. And I hope that whoever's listening to this, wherever they are in the world, that they'll be able to take that approach and use that for their business, treating their clients like family.
Yeah, I think it
Because
adds a
that's the
world
ultimate
of
goal.
difference because we too often think about cash, we think about the transaction, we don't really think about the value we can add and the value that they can be left with and then impact somebody else. Because now I can speak to you, inspire you, then you can go and inspire somebody else, and that chain reaction could change so much.
So, Armis, what I love about you so much is that you have no ego. Normally, business owners don't want their clients to interact because they don't want their clients to know the deal they're giving them or the work they're giving them. Back to the scarcity mentality. And you don't have any ego. You want clients, you want your family, as we call them, to interact with each other and build and
Correct.
grow.
Correct. I think the ego thing at the end of the day, it takes a lot to throw out the window. But once you understand that you just have to be your best self and you stop measuring yourself against anybody else, you stop trying to say, well, okay, Project Patois needs to be bigger than this other company or this competitor. You understand, okay, my purpose is to interact with my customers, try to be the best for them. And now you need to listen to them also because you're not creating a company for yourself. You're not purchasing your own products. So you have to listen to them. You have to be there with them. You have to, feel like, make them feel like they're a part of Project Pato as well, which they are because we do ask for their opinions. We do things that they request. And you have to be able to all be on the same level. I don't see myself as above anything else because yes, I make the decisions, but I do make it for other people. So
That's so interesting. So it's all roads lead back to Project Patois. That's
definitely,
how it feels.
definitely, I feel like the
Um,
impact we make with this mentality is endless. You could just go on forever.
what's your mantra, Armis? What is your saying? That one thing that just gets you through
Honestly,
anything.
my one thing is really just to be yourself and just be yourself for yourself, not for anybody else. Because naturally, once you understand yourself and you're able to make yourself happy, you could then in turn make other people happy.
That's amazing. And so, what legacy do you want to leave behind? I know we went
Mhm.
all over the place here, but truly, when you have children and your children have children and you have something set in stone on this earth, what is a legacy you want to leave behind
Honestly,
for them?
what I would love to be known for is really enjoying life. They for them to say, look, he really did enjoy his life to the fullest, and he also respected everyone and left an impact, a positive, meaningful impact with every person he met. I would say that's what I would.
But I would say you're 100%
I
there.
would love to hope so, and there's a lot more to go. There's a lot more for me to grow and learn. So it's just being able to be open-minded and keeping at it.
Yeah, and keeping creative, right? So recently, I see that you have done such a big event called the Uprising, was that something you did with the Project
Yes.
Patois family or your
Yes. So
marketing
funny
family?
enough, it was both. It was the marketing agency did run all the marketing for the event itself. The event was something we had in mind with Project Patois for a long time. The opportunity came about that we were able to put it together. I would say, what officially we had like 2,900, 3,000 people, and it was,
Mm-hmm.
first time you really had like three full bands, Marshall's full band, Kess full band, Nyla's full band, performing at a paint, powder, and water fest, which which was crazy. Usually, you don't really find that much back in party. So we wanted to do something. We also wanted to change the game up, hence the name. We wanted to come together for positive change and just show people that, okay, things can be done differently. We could level it up and still have a great time. And it translates to everything we do. I feel like coming together for change and for the right purpose. If you do it for a party, if you do it for a beach cleanup, it's the same outcome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because people love to have a good time. And so it was such a success. I had no idea. You can visit Armis's Instagram page to check out more, but I had no idea that this was charity driven at all or for a good cause. I thought it was like such an amazing party. I was dying. I'm like, I'm stuck in the
Yeah,
snow. I want
you
to get there.
definitely missed out. It was amazing. And we will have more, so don't worry. We already planning the the other events post COVID. So let's see how that goes and how things go with COVID itself.
Exactly. So, right before we wrap up, I just want to ask you, what is your
Mm.
favorite book, your favorite podcast? Well, obviously, you can
Mm-hmm.
say this one, but what has been a life changing book or a life changing scripture or some sort of tangible thing that you can leave people with so that they can adopt the same principles and same mindset that you've graced us
I
with
would
today?
definitely have to say Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. That would have been my favorite book, hands down, because
Sorry, say
it's
that one more
Napoleon
time.
Hill, Outwitting the Devil.
Yeah. Wow, I've never heard of that. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
add that to
definitely
my
have to read it.
list.
I mean, I am a history buff, so I love history and I love reading things in the past. It was written in the past, but it is very applicable today. You would just read it and let me know what you think, but it really did help me put things into perspective because he spoke about a lot of issues that we are currently facing today, just due to mentality and due to fear, which we put upon ourselves. So once we're able to break that away, we're able to grow, we're able to treat everybody with respect, and understand we can move forward and do different things. So
Yeah. I think that's the key thing. That's the whole idea behind this rebuilding healthy homes. I think there are basic foundational principles that we need to stand on in wealth, in health, and in wellness. Financial literacy components, yoga, meditation, eating right. These all are factors in creating a healthy home. And I think once you get those things right, in addition to clearing your mind and just decluttering all the nonsense, you are going to have a healthy home, and not in the physical sense where you think home in the structure that you live in. No, your body, how you treat others as you
yep,
go,
I
you
agree
know?
wholeheartedly. I think at the end of the day, those are the things that are most important and it translates into every part of your life.
Every part of your life, and it really impacts how pleasant you are with others.
Definitely.
So, Armis, thank you so much. I'm so happy you can be a part of this podcast. I'm so happy. And when we turn it into a TV show. You'll be
Sounds
one of
like
our
a
guests.
plan. Thank you for having me, first of all.
Thank you. Armis, where can we find you? On Instagram, on Facebook, on
Yes, so
YouTube?
you can
Tell
find me
us.
on Instagram. My personal is Armis on IG, Armis on IG. You could follow Project Patois as well, which is projectpatois.inc, and Lorem Ipsum Design as well, LI Design. So you could check out all different companies. I also have a big project that's coming up. Well, so Project Patois is going slightly in two different directions. We focus in Project Patois in the Caribbean, and I'm also doing Patois Inc., which will be more inclined towards the US and the international market. So stay tuned for that.
That's exciting. So as soon as you have more information to share with the world, I will share it with
Perfect.
our viewers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope you have a good night. And thank you everyone for listening to Rebuilding Healthy Homes.